All right. Hi, everybody. Cameron Goebel from Albuquerque here, and one of my friends, Roy, is having trouble learning how to frail. He's frailing the ukulele, which is kind of interesting. I'm really excited to see where he takes this, but it's a new technique for him, and I don't know that there are very many ukulele frailers out there. So frailing is what I do on my banjo, and I haven't been able to connect with Roy live on the internet or in any other way. But he keeps posting to me that he's having little problems with it and he's finding ways to fix them. And I think that's the most exciting part of all, because I feel like he's really finding new territory there. But this is my attempt to help him out just with the lessons that I've learned as I've learned how to frail on the banjo. So frailing is a little odd. And here's how it goes. All right, the frail is basically a strike, strum, thumb kind of a thing. So this is the finger that we're going to strike with. It always strikes down on the strings. This fingernail right here is going to strike down. We're going to strum across all the strings, then we're going to lift up the thumb. So that's the basic frailing strum right there. It's a quarter note and 2/8 notes, as Patrick Costello will happily remind you every time he plays this. I learned how to frail from Patrick Costello. I'm still learning how to frail from Patrick Costello. I've only been frailing for 2 years, so you're gonna see how good I am, is all I'm gonna say about that. I don't pretend to be an expert, but I am someone who's learning, and so maybe some of the things that I learned about how to do that right. I just saw my cat go out the door. All right, never mind. Some of the things that I've learned about how to do that better might help you, Roy. So here we go. First thing that I learned about the frailing strum is that it's not so much about just the hand and the strum. It's about where my instrument is. And you'll notice that when I play my banjo, I play it with the neck way up here. My peg is sticking in my ear, basically. The neck is way up. And there's a reason for that. If you notice, what this allows me to do is it allows me to move my entire arm almost perpendicular to the strings, right? So here are the strings. My arm is straight, and I can move my entire arm across the strings without a whole lot of trouble. Now, I'm exaggerating the movement here. This is how I play, basically. But to show you the sort of bigger picture of what's going on in there, I'm going to exaggerate. See how my arm is able to stay straight? That's important. This also does another thing for me, which is it lets my chording arm stay straight, right? So by having my chording arm straight and by having my strumming arm straight, I've got very simple motions that I'm trying to use, okay? Contrast that to this. If I put my neck way down here, well, in order to chord these strings, I've got to really put an angle on my chording arm, so that makes it hard. But look at what it does to my striking fingers. I have to use. I'm using two motions now. I'm going across the strings, but I'm having to pivot my arm, right? Not like this, but like this. Look at how uncomfortable that is. I mean, my shoulders are doing crazy things. It just doesn't work. If I try to do a frailing strum with the instrument in this position, it's a little harder for me. I have less precision in what I'm doing, and I have to compensate for a lot more. It means I have to think a lot harder. If you're thinking while you're playing music, then something's going to go wrong, is my experience. You just got to get it to the point where it's automatic. So having the instrument way up, and I recognize that the banjo is like a much longer instrument than a ukulele, but even a ukulele, like let's say a uke is about this big, even when I'm playing way down here, or way close to in this part of the neck, when I'm playing this way, it's much easier for me to do that than if I'm playing like this. given that my skill isn't that great, you might not be able to tell the difference, but I can tell when it feels better. And when it feels better for me, it's easier for me to work with, and I don't have to compensate for so much, right? So maybe one thing to do, Roy, is to check the position of your instrument. You know, are you trying to play your uke this way, or are you trying to play it this way? And you might try playing it this way. You know, old fiddles were actually intended to be played upon the knee. So you would actually, like my knee is right here, you would actually have it sitting on your knee, and you would saw across like this. So it's not so weird to have a small instrument be basically up and down, like closer to your spine than to your shoulder, if that makes sense. Spine, shoulder, right? So that might be a thing. Keep your hand relaxed. I don't know about claw hammer. I've tried claw hammer a couple of times and I'm just not very coordinated with it. I haven't practiced that much, but I always felt my hand tensing up, and that made it hard for me. Frailing is actually, I find it very easy, partly because a relaxed hand does the job better than a tense hand. You know, if I'm tense like this, I'm not going to do as good a job of control as if I'm just loose. So you want it to be loose because you want your hand to be able to open and close, which is kind of a cool thing. Claw hammer felt to me like I was doing this, like the itsy bitsy spider kind of a thing. Frailing feels more like this to me. And this is an easier movement for me. Because remember, I'm going to strike, strum, thumb. So it's strike, strum, thumb. I'm opening my hand rather than clenching my hand like claw hammer needs me to do. So relax. The thing that lifts up off the strings here is my thumb. My fingernail is staying straight on the plane of the strings. My fingernail doesn't really move that much. You see how much my thumb is lifting up? My fingernail is staying pretty much in the same level as the strings. It's because I want to strike them all, I want to strum them, and so it makes sense for it to stay really close to the level of the string. Another thing you might do is give your thumb a place to sit while you're striking and strumming. Now you just saw my thumb was kind of moving in a little circle, and that's because that feels more comfortable to me after I learned where to put my thumb. But when I was learning how to frail, just to get my muscles used to it, having my thumb doing this in the air didn't really make it work for me. And so what I needed to do was learn how to base my thumb down. And so that's what this spot is from, is striking and resting my thumb there. So I can't do it slowly, sorry. Now, as time has gone on, I've gotten to this sort of circular motion that my thumb can do, which feels a lot better. But in the beginning, it really helps to be able to find a place to give your thumb a home. Like that. Don't let your thumb carry you away either. You know, you're not trying to do this. You're just getting your thumb to the point where it's struck the string it needs to strike. It's that drone. So those are my sort of tips for you, and it's what helped me. And if it helps you, then I hope it works. I'm really interested to see how this works on the ukulele, because you've got, I mean, think about it, you've only got 4 strings, so it's easier, right? But I want to see what kind of music you can come up with on that uke. It's going to be cool. And okay, there you go. Hope it works for you.